racetrack live at Long Beach. The drivers are strapped in their cars, alone with their thoughts. Right now, the cars are quiet as we prepare for the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach, but in a few moments, they will come to life. There is Bobby Rahal contemplating his last start around these fabled streets as he continues his final season in the championship before he retires. Now it's time for the command to start engines. And the words will come from the Grand Marshal of today's race, Dan Lundgren, Attorney General of the state of California.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Final handshakes between the crew and the drivers. There is Richie Hearn, very much a local favorite here in Long Beach. 800 horsepower strong, they each come to life. And before they roll off, let's take this opportunity to set the starting grid for today's Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. On row one, pole sitter Brian Herta, who picked up a $20,000 Marlboro Pole Award bonus. He stands to earn another $150,000 if he can win the race, plus a $100,000 winner's purse, $250,000. He starts alongside team owner Bobby Rahal. On row two, Adrian Fernandez, last week's winner in Japan, tied for the series points lead, and Walter Salas subbing for Dennis Vitolo. His best starting position before today was 12th. Row three will be Gilles de Ferran, the pole sitter here the last 2 years, and Michael Andretti, whose first career win here in 1986 is his only one in Long Beach. Row four will be Scott Pruitt, whose first career start came here in 1988, and young Scott Dario Franchitti, whose best career finish came last week at Motegi and 8th place. On row five will be Paul Tracy, another driver who scored his first career win here at Long Beach back in 1993. He'll start next to the king of the beach, Al Unser Jr., with 6 victories. On row 6 will be Alex Zanardi, the defending race winner. It launched him on his road to the series championship last year. And Christian Fittipaldi, 4th quick in the morning warm-up. On row 7, Tony Kanaan, the most impressive of the rookies thus far this year. He was 6th in Motegi, Japan. He'll be alongside Greg Moore, the Canadian, tied for the points lead with Adrian Fernandez. On row 8, Helio Castroneves, driving for Tony Bettenhausen and Emerson Fittipaldi. He'll be alongside rookie J.J. Leto, a new sponsorship deal for Hogan Racing this weekend. On row 9, Andre Ribeiro, driving for Team Penske, looking for that 100th win for the most successful team in the sport. He'll be next to young Mexican Michel Jourdain Jr. On row 10, Richie Hearn, who made his first career start here 2 years ago. He'll be alongside Jimmy Vasser, who won this race 2 years ago. On row 11, Arndt Meyer, the young German in the only Lola chassis in the field. He'll be next to Mauricio Gugelmin, who was 5th quick in the morning warm-up. On row 12, Gugelmin's Pac West teammate, Mark Blundell, in the Motorola-sponsored car. He'll be next to the MCI machine of Max Pappas. On row 13, P.J. Jones, driving for another home team, Dan Gurney's All-American Racers. He'll be next to Patrick Carpentier, Greg Moore's teammate. On row 14, Alex Barron, his 3rd Champ Car start, but his first before his hometown fans. He'll be next to Mimos Chiatarella, who is making a return to the series. His last start came in 1995 at Laguna Seca, California. And alone on row 15, in his final start here in Long Beach, Hiro Matsushita, his 8th start in this race. We'll take a break and return for the green flag. 105 laps of live racing coming your way here on ESPN. Stay with us. ESPN Speed World coverage of the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach is brought to you by Target. At Target, you can expect more and pay less. And by Briggs & Stratton. Put more power into your lineup. Make sure all of your outdoor power equipment has a powerful, dependable Briggs & Stratton engine. The sun is shining as the cars are on the pace lap, warming tires and engines in anticipation of the green flag. Here's our race analysis. You've heard about the course, 105 laps of racing coming up. Our pole sitter, Brian Herta, with a new track record. The pit window every 35 to 40 laps. And of course, that depends on when we get yellow flags. Now, some of the stories we'll be following today. The weather. Right now, our fingers and toes are crossed. It looks like we're going to be okay. You see a lot of blue sky there on the horizon. Ford Power, Ford Cosworth engines have dominated the series thus far, winning the first 2 races of the year on oval tracks. Once again, we are in our first road course event of the year. And of course, the question at Long Beach, Danny Sullivan, is always passing.
Well, passing is always critical here. If you make a move, you better get through, because if you tap a wheel, knock a wing askew, or something like that, a wheel, it ruins your whole day. Passing is very important, especially you got guys like Jimmy Vassar back there in 20th spot. He's going to be expecting to move to the front. Little Al in 10th, the king of the streets.
Let's get a final thought from the pit lane. Here's Gary Gerald.
If all goes well down here as everybody settles into place on pit road, this will be a two-stop race. The window opens early. Fuel is not a concern at Long Beach. At about lap 25, everybody should be able to make a stop and still make just one more stop. So they've got the luxury of a little extra time. But everybody knows you've got to be really precise on these stops. Jan Mikas?
Well, Gary, we heard in the drivers' meeting that there was a concern about the speed at the exit of pit road. Now they'll no longer have to go 60 miles an hour here just to the last occupied pit. Now the drivers will have to go 60 miles an hour all the way to the end of pit road.
All right, thanks, gentlemen. Something to look forward to at the end of the race. We'll bring you a long stretch of racing commercial-free, courtesy of Toyota. The Toyota Supra pace car has pulled off. Herta and Rahal across the front row. Jim Swinton, the flagman, waves the green, and we are underway at Long Beach, up to top speed here on Shoreline Drive. Walter Salas looking around the outside of Bobby Rahal. Oh, contact there. I think Michael Andretti nosed into the back of Adrian Fernandez. Oh, and Al Unser Jr. is into the tire wall. Behind him is Helio Castro Neves in the Alumex car for Tony Bettenhausen. And we immediately get flags from the flag stand. It is a full course yellow here on lap 1 at Long Beach. It appears the rookie Castro Neves, second car into that pileup, is unable to back out. Oh, you can see from the body language that Al Unser Jr. is very upset. Kart safety team on hand to pull the cars apart.
We're going around wide. Look out, Al Unser Jr. right there. He's got nowhere to go. Makes contact right there with this car. I couldn't tell who it was. I think it was Scott Pruitt. Made a little contact, just got him off the line, caught the tire wall. Nothing anybody could do. And look how close that yellow car right there just came. He almost made contact himself.
For the fourth time in the history of this race, we have gone yellow on lap 1. It appears that Al Unser Jr.'s day is over, and that is a very tough break for Penske Racing. We'll be back in a moment. We're back live at Long Beach. You ride with Alex Zanardi, wearing the number 1 on the nose of his Target Reynard for Chip Ganassi Racing. We are under a full course caution on lap 1 as we go on board with Michael Andretti. Al Unser Jr. made contact with Scott Pruitt and stuffed his car into the tire walls. Down to Gary Gerald in the Penske pit.
Roger, did you have a conversation with your driver or with kart officials?
No, not really, Gary. Just what we saw on TV, it looked like he got squeezed on the outside going in the corner and someone bumped him into the tires. But, you know, first lap, it's tough when you get knocked out. But, you know, everybody's got to keep their heads on. And unfortunately, people weren't thinking it's a tight track here. We'll just have to wait till next week.
All right, thanks, Roger.
Now keep in mind there is a second Penske Mercedes out there in the hands of Andre Ribeiro as we go back on board with Michael Andretti. Let's take another look at that start from the vantage point of Michael Andretti's onboard camera. Coming off the hairpin onto Shoreline Drive.
So tough to start here because that hairpin's so tight, you got to get up in position. And look where the starter is, right here, right there, on the right of your screen.
Wheel to wheel with Gilles de Ferran. Man, that's close.
Here's where it gets hairy, though. Down here, everybody's braking. Look, a little smoke coming off. Protect your position. Don't lose any. Dive up there. Boom. Hit the car in front of you. Give him a little love tap. Get him going. And away we go. No harm, no foul.
Oh, man. I wonder what Al Unser Jr. is thinking right now. A wave to the crowd, some 100,000 strong here at Long Beach. That's the turnout they traditionally get here for this open-wheeled racing classic. We expect a green flag next time by while Al Unser Jr. heads for the pits. Here's a program note. Davis Cup Tennis coming your way tomorrow on ESPN2 at 11 a.m. Eastern Time live. The deciding singles match between Andre Agassi and Yevgeny Kafelnikov. U.S. versus Russia tie. Live coverage from Stone Mountain, Georgia, where Andre Agassi won his Olympic gold medal in 1996. Tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern Time on ESPN2. Brian Herta leads his teammate and car owner, Bobby Rahal. Walter Salas up into the 3rd spot. Now that everybody's got their adrenaline pumping, they've had an opportunity to slow down and gather their thoughts, Danny. What's likely to be going on in those helmets?
Well, of course, they've seen the incident. Now they're single file. They just want to make sure that they get out of the hairpin in a good position, get a run down there, and have maybe a clean pass on the car in front. But they don't have to worry about 2 abreast at this stage because they're now in single file.
In turns 6 and 7, there's been plenty of action through the support races here this weekend. And then the famed hairpin. And once again, this crowd comes to its feet throughout the grandstands as Brian Herta leads them off the corner and gets the green flag. He gets a great jump as well and rockets away from Bobby Rahal on shoreline.
So everybody fanning out there trying to make a pass down the inside. We've got 2 great places to pass around here.
Quick look from Gilles de Ferran's car. He runs right behind Adrian Fernandez in the orange and green machine. Just behind de Ferran is Michael Andretti. On Seaside Way, the backstretch here at Long Beach. Here's Fernandez coming off that big win on the oval at Motegi, Japan. A race that he could really enjoy. His 2nd career victory, the first came in Toronto, Canada. The street race a couple of seasons ago took the life of Jeff Krosnoff. Now at the bottom of your screen, you see the running order. Look for your favorite driver. The gap in time behind the race leader next to each driver's name. It'll be in each of our racing segments to keep you caught up on the event. Speeds of over 184 miles an hour on Shoreline Drive. Andretti working hard in the cockpit of his Swift Ford on Goodyear tires. Andretti's been quick just about all weekend. He's been pretty bulletproof in the other 2 races we've run this year. Ran out of gas in Motegi, Japan, or he might have won that race as he did the season opener at Homestead.
Now this is so important to come out of this hairpin, put the power down very well, and hopefully get a run on the car in front of you. But you also have to watch your mirrors. If the car behind you doesn't get a better run and take a chance of him passing you at the hairpin. So they're playing a good chess game right here, trying to find a way around the car and not lose a position.
From Gilles de Ferran's car, looking ahead at Adrian Fernandez. Through turns 2 and 3. Using those curbs, which are repainted every night to take away the rubber that builds up on them. Once again on the backstretch on Seaside Way. Gilles de Ferran looking down the inside of Fernandez. And he gets the position. De Ferran up into 4th, Fernandez back to 5th. And now Michael Andretti looks down the inside of the hairpin. He too wants around Fernandez, and he gets it. So Fernandez is back to 6th.
And a tough place to pass, but if you can surprise them there, it's actually a good, clean spot. That's always the balancing act around Long Beach. You've got to be aggressive, but you've got to be careful as well.
Important to present your car to the driver ahead of you. Make sure he sees you when you're trying to get underneath him in these very, very tight corners.
And guys, don't forget that both those 2 cars that made the moves are on Goodyear tires. So maybe the Goodyear tires are coming in now that we're at race time.
Very, very warm in the sunshine here. The clouds have blown away slightly. That track temperature will be coming up. There's Dario Franchitti driving from Barry Green in a cool Reynard with Honda power and Firestone tires. He too is right up behind Adrian Fernandez now. Right behind him is the silver Vistion machine of Scott Pruitt, Fernandez's teammate. Queen Mary looking on proudly from across the harbor as the 24th Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach unfolds. There's Alex Zanardi, the reigning series champion, off to a bit of a quiet start after all the fireworks of 1997 from Zanardi. Oh, that's Patrick Carpentier pulling around the tire barriers in the escape road. He must have a problem that he thinks will not allow him back in this race.
Either that or he was not comfortable enough to make a little burnout and spin around. It's very narrow in there. If you get it wrong, you smack the wall. And look how close they are bunched together. This just shows how competitive it is. You see a lot of them at the end of the straight pull out, not really make a pass, but let them know that they're there. Take a look. Remind the guy that you're back there. Don't make a mistake. It's going to slip underneath you.
Paul Tracy running right behind Scott Pruitt. The order is Herta, Rahal, Salas, DeFerrin, Andretti, Fernandez, Franchitti, Pruitt, Tracy, and Zanardi, the top 10. Then Christian Fittipaldi, Tony Kanaan, Greg Moore, Michel Jourdain Jr., J.J. Leto, Andre Ribeiro, and Richie Hearn. On Seaside Way, the pack continues to run together strongly. We'll take a break and return with more live from Long Beach. Stay with us.
This Toyota Spotlight, we'll take a look at turn 1, where emotions can run high. Things get real exciting on the start. They fan out and then funnel through. You're on the accelerator, but also you've got to be quick with the brake because bumper tag is often common. Now with a race restart, it's a different matter. After all, it's simply the second start of the day. But don't get too complacent. You've still got 2 hours to tackle old turn 1 here at Long Beach. Guys?
All right, thanks, Jack. Gilles DeFerrin is in the pit lane. We understand he had a tire going down. You hear him chugging along on the speed limit. 60 miles an hour limit. Now he can accelerate once again, and the cones go flying by on either side. So DeFerrin drops to the back. 13 laps complete for the race leader, Brian Herta. Here's some bad news for him. The driver who led the first lap here at Long Beach hasn't gone on to win the race since 1991 when Al Unser Jr. did it. Once again, there's a look at the running order at the bottom of your screen. Working lap number 14. Let's get more on Al Unser Jr.'s situation right now with Gary Gerald.
Bob Jr. came back to his pit area, and believe me, he is still very, very angry. He refused to do any interviews. He talked briefly with Roger Penske. He headed back to his transporter to change clothes. Hopefully, as he cools down, we'll get a chance to get a word from him, but he is not a happy king of the beach.
Have a good reason to get your energy up, all that adrenaline rushing and everything, and then be out at the first corner. Got to be tough. And there is Walter Salas. Ooh, Michael Andretti trying to get under him for third place. Salas did a great job in qualifying. He's been driving very, very well, only his second start.
And did you see him touch right there with Fernandez? Fernandez took advantage of it. I thought Walter did a very good job there. He didn't panic. Michael moved in. Walter's all over. Look at that.
He is back on the attack.
Got a little wide there. Can't lose sight of what he's supposed to be doing. Go to the front. Now everybody's going to dive up the inside of him.
That's Dario Franchitti going underneath. Looking for fifth spot. Taking it from the young Brazilian Salas.
He's got to keep a cool head here. Not get frustrated by losing those positions. He's been running awful strong.
Now Scott Pruitt attaches himself to Salas's rear wing as they head down for turn 6. Can't make the pass, though. And right there's Franchitti. And there's Alex Zanardi in the red car. Oh, and straight on went Paul Tracy into, Michel Jourdain Jr. I saw the flash of green, and I knew Tracy was running in that neighborhood. Michel Jourdain Jr., the young Mexican, has nosed it into the tires.
Now, right there at that spot, they've got a crane, so they'll try to pick it up and pull him over the wall if the car's too far, if it's too much damage, what it looks like.
No sign of a full course caution yet. No yellow flags from the flag stand. Here comes the crane you were talking about,
But
Danny.
what they're trying to do is they're trying to get that out of position.
And now we do have a full course caution, our second of the day. We'll take a break and return with more live from Long Beach. Team Rahal runs first and second. Back live at Long Beach as the field streams through the hairpin turn under a full course caution after Michel Jourdain drove his car into the tire wall in turn 6. High above, the Goodyear Blimp Eagle is providing our aerial pictures today. At the controls is pilot Joel Chamberlain from Norwood, Massachusetts. 1998 is the 100th anniversary of Goodyear and the 73rd for its blimp fleet. We expect a green flag shortly as cars are led around. Now that the Toyota Supra pace car has picked up the leader, we'll be right back. We're back live at the beach. Caution flags waved from the flag stand. We anticipate a green flag shortly. Michel Jourdain's car has been pulled behind the wall out in turn 6. Here's Jan Bikas.
Well, Bob, you talked earlier about Gilles de Ferran came onto pit road because he had a tire going down. What is happening here is a piece of debris was kicked up off the racetrack, took the letters off of Goodyear, and there is the cut. That is what let the air pressure out of this tire. But here's the key part. This is the sensor that links back to the car and then the telemetry to the pits to make sure that both Gilles de Ferran and the crew knew that this was a problem. Gary?
Quick update on the front runners, Herta and Rahal. Herta's team says the car is great. In fact, they said we're cruising. They look for their first stop in the mid-30s. They may go longer with these yellows. Bobby Rahal's got a slight push and also a slight communication problem. A slight audio problem with his radio reception to his crew. They're having a hard time hearing him, particularly when he's on the backstretch.
All right, thanks, Gary. There is Herta, leading his 5th consecutive street or road race. Going back to last season, he led at Mid-Ohio, Elkhart Lake, Vancouver, Laguna Seca, and of course today. Mid-Ohio race is one he could well have won. The tire exploded while he was leading the race down into the keyhole turn. Alex Zanardi passed him and went on and took the win. Back up to speed they come as we go green, and you're watching Brian Herta disappear in the distance from the nose of Bobby Rahal's car. Rahal has Michael Andretti all over the back of him, down in 1. It's amazing what having a good race car under you will do for a driver's confidence. Michael Andretti is just beaming with confidence this weekend. Looking for his 2nd win here on the streets of Long Beach. His dad Mario has 3. Into turn 6. This is where Jourdain went into the tires a few laps ago. Now into the hairpin. More action in the pits coming up shortly. We understand Richie Hearn will be bringing the Budweiser car in shortly with tire problems. Oh, Christian Fittipaldi is in the tires.
And there's another one of the cool cars right up here in the top part of your screen.
Can't tell from this angle who it is. Either Dario Franchitti or Paul Tracy, and it is Paul Tracy, it appears, as he climbs out. And once again, we'll get yellow flags from the flag stand as the kart safety team goes to work. Here's another look.
Oh, look at this. Whoa. Big air. That was the same location that Christian Fittipaldi was involved with Greg Moore a while back. They touched in that same area. Comes through turn 6 at the end of the straightaway.
Now here's Andre Ribeiro in the Penske pits for some front wing adjustments. A new nose on that car. In fact,
oh, that was a close call getting out of here as Ribeiro pulled out. Herta was coming in for the stop. They came within inches of each other, Bob.
And Bobby Rahal comes in as well. As the Team Rahal teammates are both in the pits at the same time. It's going to be a... Okay, Rahal moves first. There's Hiro Matsushita, the RCR Wells team. And the pits are busy. Look at them all. There's Mauricio Gugelmin in the Pac West car. There's Rahal, still on the pit lane speed limiter. Now he is back up to speed. Trailing Matsushita. All 2 drivers making their final appearances are back on the racetrack. We'll take a quick break and analyze when we return. Back live at Long Beach, there's the new race leader, J.J. Leto, who did not pit under this, our 3rd full course caution of the day. Let's take another look at the incident that brought the flags out.
Well, they've come through turn 6, and now they're going into position. Look at this. Paul Tracy tried to go up the inside. Christian took a little bit more of the racing line. There wasn't room. Got up over the tire. Both of them touched.
Now on board with Alex Zanardi. The action's going to take place up ahead.
Oh, see right out there wide. Oh, I see what happened is that Paul Tracy went too wide and tried to get back, and Christian was going around him on what turned out to be the outside. Paul dove up the inside. They touched. They're both out of the race.
Man, that is as vertical as you can get without going over. Paul Tracy, very lucky there. We're looking for a green flag shortly. We'll take our commercial breaks during the yellow and be right back. Back live, you ride with Richie Hearn as he brings the car up to speed on the back stretch, looking for a green flag next time by.
Green.
Green flag. Someone wiggling there. J.J. Leto is the race leader. That's Elio Castro Neves. He's got Andre Ribeiro right alongside. Ribeiro, however, is a lap down. So that is not for position between the Alumax car and the Marlboro car. There's Arn Meyer in that bright yellow Lola, the only one in the field. He is the third place machine. Then Max Pappas in the Toyota-powered Arciero Wells car. This is a home race for them as well. Then P.J. Jones for Dan Gurney in the 5th spot.
Bob, you're talking about Richie Hearn. The reason he came onto pit road, contact with another car, and a tire had gone down.
Now let's take a look at our fuel window. The green spaces are green flags. These are the top 5 cars in the running order. The yellow portions are yellow flag running. And then the fuel window, which, as I mentioned earlier, we expect somewhere between laps 33 and lap 40. Keep track of that as the race wears on.
And of course, Bob, what these guys are gambling on is they're going to get another yellow before they have to stop for fuel. And look at this, Bobby Rahal is stopped.
In the hairpin, I believe. No obvious damage to the car. Perhaps just a spin and stall, and he's asking for the corner workers to give him a push, get him going.
Yeah, but they're not about to jump out on that track.
That's his voice on the radio. You see the local yellow flag. It is now a full course yellow.
And Bob, even the crew for Rahal is mystified. They said he has not said anything on the radio. Now he speaks with Tim Cindric, and they are just banging their fists in frustration.
Once again, the kart safety team rolls to the scene. Let's take another look at what happened to Bobby.
Oh, and Michael Andretti is way up in the air. Bobby obviously had to stop. And at that slow speed, he probably jumped on the brakes and stalled the car. Michael Andretti tries that move around the outside, which he's done before. Now the hairpin's right over in here. And somebody turns in, and Michael gets right up over the tire. Looks like one of Dan Gurney's cars. Gets right up over the tire, launches, and Bobby obviously hits the brake.
From above, I believe that's P.J. Jones turning ahead of Michael Andretti. Andretti gets in the air, Rahal gets on the brakes, and stalls the engine.
And Bobby was very lucky he didn't get hit from the back. And see, that's what happened. You could hear him, he stalled it. He didn't get the clutch in fast enough to hit the brakes and stalled the car.
Man, it has been flight school here today. After Paul Tracy flies through the air, Michael Andretti takes a brief solo. And there you see Bobby Rahal's Miller Lite sponsored Reynard trying a jump start on Shoreline Drive. That's kart safety number 2. Dave Hollander is the crew chief, Rich Smith, Tim Veith, and Joe Richard providing the muscle. Another full course caution, another opportunity to step away. We'll be back with more live from Long Beach. Back in Long Beach, this was the race-leading Reynard for Hogan Racing, who celebrated new sponsorship this weekend from Universal Studios. But now J.J. Leto is pitting under full course caution, and something is terribly wrong. Now back to the incident we just saw. Watch and listen.
This is right where Christian and them touched.
And the amazing thing is, Michael just grabs the gear and drives away.
Like, no big deal, I tell you. This is bang 'em and crash 'em here so far. One of these guys is going to figure out, with all these incidents going on, if I get a little conservative here, I could maybe finish up in the points or the podium just by staying out of trouble.
Down to Jan Bikus.
Guys, Helio Castro-Neves now shown as our leader. Tony Bettenhausen says they're going to go for a 2-stop race. Remember, he's already stopped on course, but he has not stopped here on pit road. He was able to restart after the first lap incident, did not come onto pit road. They think with all these yellow flags, they might be able to go with a 2-stop race. So you never know. This might work out well for Bettenhausen and company.
Well, Tony Bettenhausen always willing to roll the dice. He did it at Gateway last year, trying to pick up a win for his rookie driver, Patrick Carpentier. Now he has Helio Castro-Neves, the advice and counsel of the great Emerson Fittipaldi. The Alumax team is looking good. Castro-Neves is the leader. Gilles de Ferran shown in second place. There's de Ferran in the blue and white Valvoline car. Then Brian Hurd, our pole sitter. Michael Andretti after his brief flight. Dario Franchitti, Adrian Fernandez, Scott Pruitt, Tony Kanaan, Greg Moore, and Alex Zanardi. Back to action. De Ferran looking to move up.
Let's not forget de Ferran's had already stopped for that punctured tire. So he's doing very well to be back up there battling in second position.
Keep in mind, we're not even at the 30-lap mark in this race. Less than a third of the way through, and we've already seen incredible action that have led to 4 yellow flags. This was the scene of the accident moments ago. Drivers hard on the throttle. Engines up to more than 14,000 RPM. Hundreds of spark plug firings every second. And more action in the hairpin once again. Oh, fully blocked now. Self-park or valet, sir? Now, we saw this several times in this morning's practice.
Well, what happens here is if one of them tries to go around the outside, they don't have enough turning ratio to get out there, and they've got to stop.
Oh, this is embarrassing. There goes Max Pappas. We have a full course caution now. If you drive through that, are you passing under the caution?
Good question, and I don't know the answer.
Down to Gary Gerald.
Well, an interested observer is Paul Tracy, who's watching a monitor. You had your own adventure. Everybody's having an adventure. Tell us about your ride, because you almost went over.
Well, the cool car was running great. I mean, we were just pacing ourselves. I got slowed down a little bit coming off the turn on the back straight, and Christian made a move on the outside of me and put the squeeze on me, and I had nowhere to go. I was up against the wall and just sent the car up in the air, flying in the air, and it was just a bad position to try to make a move around the outside. That's why everybody's crashing into each other.
Is this unusual? I mean, it seems like we're just having almost a demo derby out here.
Well, it's getting awfully competitive out there, and it's early in the year, so, you know, it's all I can hope for is some guys drop out or have problems so we can stay up in the points.
Okay, thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Paul Tracy's day is over, and the traffic jam is just about resolved down there in the hairpin, but there's always new members coming up. We'll take a break and be right back. ESPN Speed World coverage of the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach is brought to you by FedEx. Now FedEx delivers on Sunday because the world works 7 days a week. And by Invesco, managers of 38 no-load mutual funds. You should know what Invesco knows.
It may look like a parking lot, but it's the hairpin corner here in Long Beach, California, the focus of this Toyota Spotlight. Bad news for Michael Andretti and Bobby Rahal as they punch one another in the corner. But it's a gear-shifting, roller coaster, tight, twisting corner, at best at over 40 miles an hour. But it's also a place where you can make a pass, as Michael Andretti did on Walter Salas.
Well, it's hard to find a specific point on this racetrack that is the center of our focus because there's something going on, it seems like, every lap all the way around. From the Goodyear blimp high overhead, there is the hairpin. Moments ago, Hiro Matsushita and Walter Salas tagged each other and spun, and the rest of the field arrived. What we had was a traffic jam. In a moment, we expect to get a green flag. There will be one more lap behind the Toyota Supra pace car. While we have this opportunity, here's a program.
Fittipaldi, give us the quick version of what happened from your seat.
Well, Paul braked, I think, a little bit too late on the previous turn. He went wide, and obviously he came out of the turn slower than I did. I had to go on him on the outside, In my opinion, I was like half a car ahead of him. I was giving him space, but he just sort of ran in, and then we touched, and basically that was it. Racing incident. It's bad for me. It's bad for him also.
Thank you, Christian.
Well,
There you see the current race leader, Helio Castroneves, working lap number 34 of 105. Take a look at the full field rundown now that the field has sorted itself out. Castroneves, Gilles de Ferran, Ryan Herta, our pole sitter and early race leader, Michael Andretti, who's had an interesting day thus far, Dario Franchitti, who started 8th, worked his way up to 5th spot. And now on page 2, the cars out of the race. Tracy, Fittipaldi, Jourdain, Carpentier, Al Unser Jr., who went out in the first couple of turns. J.J. Leto, several laps down. Appears that his race might be over as well. Back onto Shoreline Drive they come. Once again, the crowd comes to its feet. The green flag waves, and we are back underway. This is the area where the course will change in the future. Drivers will make a left turn right where those brake marks start. Go around the new aquarium here in Long Beach. Adrian Fernandez leading his teammate Scott Pruitt in 6th and 7th. Interesting set of corners coming up right here. Constant acceleration between these concrete walls made up of blocks of concrete, 8,000 pounds heavy each.
Bob, Tony Bettenhausen has been on the radio to his driver, Helio Castroneves, and of course, as a former driver, he was coaching him on that restart. Said, hold back from the pace car and then punch it. You need to jump to get ahead of Gilles de Ferran. So far, he's following Tony's plans very well.
Helio Castroneves joins J.J. Leto, leaders in this race as rookies. Only the 3rd and 4th drivers to lead here at Long Beach in their first start at this event. Obviously, Mauro Andretti in his first start in the first race here. He led every lap of that affair, and Alex Zanardi led 1 lap in his first start in 1996 here at Long Beach. 15th year for the Kart FedEx Championship Series here at Long Beach. Before that, of course, it was a Formula 1 race. Before that, the initial running, a Formula 5000 event. You see the running order at the bottom of your screen with the laps complete. 2 cars drawing away slightly. Castroneves and Gilles de Ferran. A little extra boot from the throttle to get that car turned. Checking speeds at the line on the left side of your picture. The arrows show you the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd fastest cars, and they will change. There's Adrian Fernandez checks in with the 3rd quickest lap on the one just completed. But de Ferran and Castroneves remain the 2 fastest cars on the racetrack right now. Seaside Way, headed for turn 6. Castroneves, runner-up in the PPG Dayton Indy Lights Series last year. Let's walk back through the field now. There's Jimmy Vasser. Here comes Mark Blundell, and behind him, the bright red Budweiser car of Richie Hearn, whose other major sponsor, Ralph's Food for Less, is a major supermarket chain here in the western United States, and they have thousands of guests sitting down in turn 1 watching Richie Hearn drive their car. A Swift chassis, Ford power, and Firestone tires.
Going down through that sequential gearbox, you heard him just pushing it forward, just clicking it down. Has to go through each gear.
Andre Ribeiro has spun down in 1. Someone gone on the escape road? Yes, Max Pappas in the MCI car. And these kart safety team workers have to be very careful down there on the runoff road. That's a 185-mile-an-hour straightaway, and the cars are coming right toward them. That's Kart Safety Team 1 at work. Lon Bromley, the director of safety for the series. Cam Howie, Jeff Knapp, and Dr. Rick Timms. Boy, that looked like an all skate. On board with Michael Andretti. Keep in mind, this street circuit has taken lots of rain in the last couple of days. It's probably pretty green. As we mentioned, we had a couple of big traffic jams down in the hairpin in the morning warm-up. And now one in the race as we watch Michael Andretti. Just behind Andretti is Alex Zanardi. Zanardi several laps down right now. Actually, one lap down is Zanardi, shown in 17th place. There's Mauricio Gugelmin and Jimmy Vasser, a winner in this race back in 1996 when he won the series championship for Target Chip Ganassi Racing. And once again, we have a full course caution. They cannot move Max Pappas's car. They will have to send a truck out there to remove him. And there is Mad Max making the walk back to the pit area. Across turn 1 to the pit out. Expect our race leader in the pits. Elio Castroneves will take this opportunity to pit under the yellow. There he is. Jan Bikas awaits him.
And the first thing the crew did when they jumped over the wall was said, okay, this is under caution, take it easy, don't rush this pit stop. This crew is so excited that they've been leading this race for that duration. Obviously, they want to make sure they get everything done properly. He's down 13.3 seconds. That's a great stop for Bettenhausen and company.
And that makes Gilles de Ferran the leader with 40 laps complete of 105. We'll take another break and return for the green flag here at Long Beach. Stay with us. We are under our 6th caution of the day, and that is a new record for the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. The old record 5 set in 1995 3 times, 1985, 87, and 89. This race ran end-to-end caution-free, and after what we've seen thus far today in 42 laps, that is really hard to believe. On board with Richie Hearn. Driving for John Della Penna. They have been very, very busy with sponsor commitments this weekend. I mentioned that the race leaders would need to go to lap 54. Gilles de Ferran pitted on lap 12 out of sequence when he needed that work on the nose, so he can actually go as early as lap 58 and make it to the finish on 1 stop. These aerial pictures are coming to us courtesy of the Goodyear Blimp Eagle, based in Carson, California. Recently, Goodyear expanded its blimp fleet to 6, adding 2 new blimps in Europe and 1 in South America. Highway 405 here in Southern California. You can drive by the airfield in Carson, California, and see the Goodyear blimp at anchor, base of their airship operations here on the West Coast. There is Gilles de Ferran driving for Derek Walker in the Valvoline Cummins car. Onto the front straight. He has an opportunity to make up time. Aboard with Michael Andretti briefly there. He's got Alex Zanardi just behind him. Scott Pruitt going around his teammate Adrian Fernandez. That is for position. Pruitt now up to 5th. Fernandez back to 6th.
And both of the Patrick drivers have had their share of bumps. We were just checking with the team, Bob. Pruitt involved in the incident early with Al Unser Jr. Fernandez in 2 other altercations. Both cars responding, however, with no damage. They will make a change on the final stop for Pruitt with air pressure, though. Go back to their original setting after an earlier adjustment.
Whoa, Arndt Meyer in the bright yellow Lola, not racing for position. Had a thought about going down the inside of Fernandez, but Fernandez was having none of it. Steve Newey working the radios with Adrian Fernandez. Jim McGee on the horn with Scott Pruitt. Here's a look at the new Lola. And here comes Jimmy Vasser. Down in turn 1, Dario Franchitti, Bobby Rahal. There is Vasser, currently shown in 7th behind Adrian Fernandez. Gilles de Ferran leads Brian Herta, Michael Andretti, Dario Franchitti, then Pruitt, Fernandez, and Vasser. Mauricio Gugelmin is 8th. His teammate with the Pac West Group, Mark Lundell, is 9th. Richie Hearn runs 10th. Then Walter Salas, Greg Moore, Tony Kanaan, P.J. Jones, Helio Castroneves, who made that pit stop under the caution. Those are the cars on the lead lap, the top 15. Then Alex Zanardi, 1 lap down at 16th. Alex Barron, another spot back in 17th, also a lap down. Mimo Schiatarella and Andre Rivero also down 1 lap. Then Arndt Meyer in that yellow Lola, 2 laps down. Followed by Bobby Rahal and Hiro Matsushita. That is the running order at the moment. Now Vassar looking around Meyer. It's a drag race down into 1 before they get on the brakes, and it becomes a stopping war. Vassar cleanly by. Back on board with Michael. Leader Gilles de Ferran. There's the gap back to Brian Hurd in second in the Shell car. Turn 6. Here comes Michael Andretti behind him. Look there at our pole sitter. Could pick up a record bonus for the Marlboro Pole Bonus Award. He's already got $20,000 for taking pole. Normally it would be 10, but because we did not have qualifying in the Budweiser 500 in Motegi, Japan, it was rained out. Jimmy Vassar, who was awarded pole based on practice times, did not pick up the bonus. Alex Zanardi goes around Michael. Now he's trying to make up a lap, so he's got to catch Brian Herta, then Gilles de Ferran, and he will be back on the lead lap. Zanardi. Onto Seaside Way, headed for turn 6. Dario Franchitti moves up behind Michael Andretti. Back in a moment to see how it turns out. More live from Long Beach coming up. Back live at Long Beach, on board with the 3rd place car, Michael Andretti, and he may have a problem, Danny.
Yeah, you can see right there around that tire, it looks like a little bit of rubber flapping around there. It could be that the tire's just coming apart on the inside, but he certainly doesn't seem to be slowing down.
He's on the radio with Ed Nathman. No discussion of the tire thus far. Remember last year in this race, Michael Andretti in the then new Swift chassis, very competitive, but lost 3 tires to punctures. And Michael has to be able to see that, I would think.
He would see it, but if he doesn't have a handling problem, if it's not doing anything, he doesn't want to stop under a green flag condition, put himself well back. If it's not a danger issue, he's going to keep going.
Remember, they have the pressure sensors on the wheels of these cars that Jan Beek has pointed out in the pits earlier.
And also, let's remember the inside of the tire. Well, as I was saying, let's not forget he's got the feel of it. The inside of the track is not that important.
He goes past the pit entrance.
Bob, the crew was ready for him. They went over the wall with fresh rubber. Now they're being waved back to the right side of the wall, and Andretti stays on course. We'll see what happens the next time by.
Oh, Michael Andretti is dancing with the devil here on the streets of Long Beach. Those concrete walls will reach out and grab you.
Times are still looking good. Your times are still looking good.
This is a tough one, but Michael has to make that decision. If he feels it's dangerous, he's got to make the call. And he doesn't want to give up that spot.
Danny, on the radio, Michael says he's picked up a big push.
Well, Gary, that tire, you can see it is just going away, and it's starting to drain across the top. But he still, as Ed Nathman said, his lap times are good.
I wasn't sure if he meant times or temps. Oh, what courage from Michael Andretti. That tire could go at any moment as he runs between these walls at up to 185 miles an hour. Last lap, 106 miles an hour average, and that includes that 28-mile-an-hour hairpin turn.
Michael also is looking at the situation. He doesn't want to give up the spot. He doesn't want to lose the track position, and he's got to weigh it very carefully that he doesn't do something, the tire explodes, and then he really loses a lot of ground and a chance at no points. But as he said, the car's handling great. Why should I stop?
He goes by the white machine of Mimo Schiatarella. He's in for Roberto Moreno with Indy Project Indy, Andreas Laberle's team. I imagine he can feel something like that through the steering wheel. Meanwhile, Gilles de Ferran remains the race leader. Jan Bikus has more on him.
Well, we spoke with Derek Walker, the team owner, and he said that we do not have enough fuel to make it on one more stop because we had the cut tire. We're now out of sequence. They also believe that Helio Castro Neves, when he pitted, he will have enough time to only make one more stop. They're hoping for yellow. They should be here on pit road in about 4 more laps for Gilles de Ferran.
Well, after what we've seen thus far, the yellow flag is a pretty safe bet. Having said that, remember this race has gone fully green 3 times, so perhaps now that the drivers have had some time to get into the rhythm, we might not see another yellow. Now, Michael, despite that left front tire, is closing on Brian Herta for second place.
And you saw something else. In front of Herta was Alex Zanardi, who had already passed him. So if we see de Ferran stop, and then they have a yellow, Alex Zanardi will get his lap back.
Is Herta. Look at the last lap comparison. 2 miles an hour difference between Michael Andretti and Brian Herta. Meanwhile, Dario Franchitti is running just behind Michael Andretti, and that's for position as well. Franchitti closing up noticeably on Andretti now.
Michael, just be gentle, be calm on that left front tire, okay?
Just be gentle on that left front tire.
How do you do that?
Well, you just got to be careful when you turn it into a corner. Don't turn in real hard. Don't try to pitch the car. If you got a little understeer, be a little gentle on it. Like now, this right-hander coming up right here, be gentle. See, he was a little easy going in there. Same on this next right-hander.
And meanwhile, a glance in his mirrors tells him that man, Dario Franchitti, is closing up quickly.
And Danny Sullivan, you're talking about being gentle, and that's exactly what Ed Nathman and the team are telling Michael Andretti, to be gentle. They want to try to get another 14, 15 laps out of this scenario. Going to be hold your breath time, I think.
Michael Andretti, 3rd in points coming into this 3rd round of the FedEx Championship Series.
I think your speed is good. Just be careful on that left front.
There you see the fuel windows on the top 3 cars, de Ferran, Herta, and Andretti. As you see, de Ferran's green line.
Oh, I just hit the wall.
Oh.
Well, they gambled, and obviously that tire just was worse than they thought, and it just gave up. Of course, he was going around the right-hander. Left front goes down right into the outside wall.
Mario Andretti looking on at the same pictures you're seeing. 7th full course caution flag is out.
And the person this benefits the most, Gilles de Ferran.
Absolutely.
He was right into his window. He'll be able to stop under yellow.
From above.
Now he's got the right-hander. He's going around there, and the tire just starts to come apart. You could see it flapping around. Just came apart. Nothing he could do. At that stage, you just become a passenger.
Leader is in, Jan Bikus.
Gilles de Ferran brings it to a stop, and there, of course, are Goodyear engineers here. We asked them about Michael Andretti. They think that when he flew through the air that the suspension bent, and that wore out the tire, so it should not be a problem for Gilles de Ferran. He's back on the ground. Good stop for them, 15.5, and he's underway.
There's Brian Herta, who exits his pits. Just behind Dario Franchitti, there is Michael Andretti, who pushed the situation just 1 lap too far. We'll be back with more from Long Beach. Welcome back to Long Beach. You ride with Gilles de Ferran, shown as the race leader, running behind the Toyota Super Safety car. The laps ahead, the cars ahead will be waved by before we go green. Michael Andretti lost a left front tire after pushing it just too far. Here's another look from overhead.
See him go apart, the pieces of the tire and part of the front wing just come apart. There's nothing he can do. He just slides out into the outside wall.
Well, that could have been a lot worse at the speeds they're running on Shoreline Drive.
Well, if it was further down where it was really the speed.
Listen. Down to Gary Gerald.
Ed Nathman, how much of a gamble in your mind was it to leave him out when it looked like something was unraveling in that left front?
Well, we were trying to get an idea how bad that tire was from Michael. His times were the same. He was going the same times as the leaders. At the time, we thought it would be safe. He had about 8 more laps to go. We're trying to get him to slow down when the tire blew.
Do you think that earlier contact may have bent suspension and damaged the tire?
Oh, it's very likely could have cut the tire earlier. The tire pressure gauges, the tire pressure sensors on the telemetry still show good pressure, but it could have hurt the construction when he hit the fairing or those other people.
All right, thanks, Ed.
Well, I think they may have touched on something there because it looked like the tire just sort of delaminated and didn't really lose pressure.
Right, when they come apart like that, it just is like a big belt, and then it just whaps the front wing, everything else.
Coming up next after auto racing will be Sports Center. Did Mark McGwire tag his 5th home run in as many games to start the baseball season? Highlights from the NASCAR Winston Cup Texas 500 and the playoff race in the NBA. Among the stories you'll see coming up next on Sports Center. We are under caution for the 7th time today. We'll be back with a green flag coming up from Long Beach. Stay with us. We are back live at Long Beach. Drivers weaving back and forth across the road to bring their tires up to temperature in anticipation of a green flag. Keep in mind, the end of today's race will be brought to you without commercial interruption, courtesy of Toyota. Still under our 7th full course caution of the day. That extends the record for cautions here at the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. Let's check our stories. The weather has not been a factor, and it looks like it will not be after 2 days of heavy storms. Looks like we're going to have sunshine for the 24th consecutive year at this race. Ford-powered cars running 4th, 5th, and 6th right now. Race leader Gilles de Ferran has Honda power. And the passing, well, Gilles de Ferran has come from 5th to 1st. Helio Castroneves from 15th to 2nd. And Dario Franchitti, who gridded 8th, now runs in 3rd place. We'll take a break and return with the green flag when the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach is set to get underway.
Michael Andretti's problems, as we told you, started right here in the hairpin when he was punted by Bobby Rahal. It suspension, and then the left front tire began to unpeel, but it was a ticking time. Tick, 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 and then this. And Andretti's day was ended.
That while Michael Andretti was running a strong 3rd place. You heard his team manager, Ed Nathman, said Michael was comfortable with the left front tire. His pressures were okay, and the times were good. They just pressed it too far. Down to Jan Beekes.
Well, Michael Andretti, the big question, you could see that the tire had problems, but you obviously thought it was going to hold up.
Yeah, we probably shouldn't have, but they said to stay out. They were watching the air pressures on the telemetry, and but then it just let go. It had no warning, but I saw pieces of it starting to come apart.
Now, ultimately, whose decision is it? I mean, obviously, they told you to stay out, but did you think you should come in and get a new tire?
I guess it's ultimately my butt on the line, so you know, I decided to take the risk because I knew if I had to pit that our chances of winning were done. So I took the chance, and it didn't pay off.
Thank you, Michael.
3rd strong performance for Michael Andretti, but he gets only the 1 victory in the season opener at Homestead out of it. We are back under green. Gilles de Ferran, the race leader. Helio Castroneves runs in 2nd. Dario Franchitti 3rd. Brian Herta in 4th. And then Scott Pruitt. That's the battle you're watching right there. There's Brian Herta, who could win in excess of $250,000 today in prize purses and bonus awards if he can come through and win the race after having taken pole position. Let's look at Scott Pruitt. A new silver Visteon sponsored car for Pat Patrick Racing. Scott and his wife Judy welcomed their first child together, a daughter, first of this year, Taylor Dawn Pruitt. Taking a bit of a defensive line, a low line into turn 1. Pruitt can't get around.
It's a long way to go to be taking a line like that already. but Brian could have come out of the hairpin a little slow and wanted to protect his position, get some heat in those tires, and be able to pull away a little bit from Scott.
Now, the longest run we've seen on a load of fuel was Helio Castroneves, who went 42 laps. We have 42 laps remaining in this race. So it's possible that our leading cars may be able to run to the finish. A yellow flag would make that task a lot easier.
And we were just checking Bob Barshow with Brian Herta's crew. Ray Leto, the engineer, he said, "Hey, Gary, what's going on?" I asked him, "What's the fuel situation?" And he said, "Boy, it is close." I asked him if you're going to need yellow. He says, "We need yellow. I can't tell you how much, but I think we're all in the same situation."
I think he knew exactly what your question was going to be when you came walking over, Gary.
Now, it's a lot harder, too, on these guys that are back here racing for position, because they have to run pretty much maximum fuel to stay in front of the other car. If you've got a little breathing space, you might be able to turn your fuel mixture down 1 or 2 clicks and conserve a little bit more fuel.
Hard right-hand turn, and then on to the power as soon as you dare on Shoreline Drive. On board with Alex Zanardi, who has gotten back onto the lead lap. Running behind Greg Moore. That's for position. Moore, surprisingly, has not been much of a factor. He had 2 very competitive races on the ovals. Jerry Forsythe's team, not much of a factor here today, but he has been working with a touch of the flu. You see Zanardi's progress from his 11th place starting position to where he runs now in 10th. Greg Moore just ahead. The All-American Racers machines just ahead of Moore. That's Alex Barron, the young karting superstar who spent a year in Formula Fords, a year winning the cool Toyota Atlantic Championship in his rookie year. And now here he is in these 900 horsepower champ cars. Moore gets by young Barron, who runs in 15th place. He's not a part of this fight for position. Right now he's holding up Alex Zanardi. Right behind Zanardi, bright day glow yellow on his car, that's Tony Kanaan, Brazilian rookie champion in last year's PPG Dayton Indy Light Series, having another great run. Kanaan shown in 10th place, just behind Zanardi. Kanaan driving for the man who helped take him to that championship in the Indy Lights last year. Tasman Racing, Steve and Christine Horn. Zanardi. Clean track now as he tries to pull up on Greg Moore. We'll check the speeds at the line when they cross the start-finish line. Castroneves, second quick. Brian Herta going very quickly in 4th spot. Adrian Fernandez notches up an average speed of 108 miles per hour.
And as it drops down, Alex Zanardi has the quickest lap at the line.
Compare that, if you will, with Brian Herta's pole-winning average speed of 111.2 miles an hour. You guys are running very quickly with heavy loads of fuel in the car.
And under these conditions, we've had a lot of yellows. That puts a lot of caution in these guys' mind that they're, especially in a points-paying position, which these guys that we're watching right now are in.
With Gilles de Ferret. Derek Walker on the radio. Let's go down to Gary Gerald.
Quick update on the situation for the Patrick drivers, Adrian Fernandez and Scott Pruitt. We asked them about the fuel scenario. They didn't miss a beat and said there's no way we can make it. In fact, they need about 10 laps of yellow. If they don't get the yellow, we'll see those cars in the pits for a splash.
Feeling they're not going to be the only ones, Gary. Particularly if we run under green, as we are right now. In turn 6, Fernandez follows his teammate Pruitt.
So the question, if I'm the team manager, is, okay, do I run it full rich, put all the fuel in, knowing that I'm going to have to make a stop, or do I gamble and turn it down, hoping for a yellow.
And the answer to that, Danny, from the Patrick team was they were trying to conserve. They told them to lean it as much as they could and to stay off the button. That's the button they hit for a little extra RPMs in critical situations. That had been the strategy up until at least a few moments to go.
And Gary, that's the same strategy for Team Walker. They are trying to save absolutely as much fuel as they can as well. That was the strategy actually when they were out of pit sequence. Anybody who came in with Gilles-de-Ferran, which was quite a big group, like you say, 50% of the people are going for it with a lot of fuel, and the other 50%, like Gilles-de-Ferran, are really trying to save.
Well, Gilles-de-Ferran has got mirrors full of Helio Castroneves right now. This is the 4th race in a row that de-Ferran has led, and the 3rd year in a row that he has led here at Long Beach.
And Bob, that would be the reason. He is saving fuel, and Helio Castroneves has plenty.
Castroneves looking down the inside down in 1, but he's not close enough.
Jan, does that mean he has plenty to go the distance at racing speeds, or is he going to have to stop as well?
Oh, he'll have to stop one more time, Danny, but the thing is, he can stop one more time easily. Gilles-de-Ferran really has the fuel leaned out right now, and you can see it on the straightaway.
So I'm sure Derek Walker's giving Gilles commands, you know, hold him off, but don't do anything dangerous. He's running rich and you're running lean.
Gilles-de-Ferran took pole at this event a year ago, breaking the pole streak, a record streak for Alex Zanardi. He had mechanical problems in the race, tagged a wall, and that was after a massive crash in practice in which he collided with the stationary machine of Walter Salas. So his memories of last year at this racetrack are not great ones.
Bob, we're also talking about rich and lean. For the folks at home that don't understand that, full rich means they're dumping the maximum amount of fuel in there, which makes more power. They have a switch in there that they can turn that fuel mixture down from, say, 100% to 96%, 94, 92, so on. And they'll lean it right out to about 88% if they want to. Less power, but conserves more fuel.
Alex Zanardi is pitting as you watch the battle for the lead through the hairpin. Derek Walker for Gilles-de-Ferran, a master of pit strategy, fuel calculation. That car is distinct from the other ones in that its turbocharger is made by one of its technical sponsors, Holset. The rest of the cars, I believe, use Garrett turbochargers on their engines. There is Zanardi, who has just left the pits with the race leaders coming up behind him. He's on cold tires and he's holding up the parade right now.
This is going to allow everybody to bunch up. See the cars right behind them moving forward. The green and white fuel car right there. Dario Franchitti in the back of your screen. Brian Herta at the top of your screen.
Looking back from Zanardi. Here's the hairpin. That Honda getting the power down well, and now Zanardi may have his tires up to temperature.
He's also got his fuel in the car, so he's probably got it up full rich. So he's going to pull away from him a little bit.
And guys, also with Zanardi, he's been in the pits twice because he had contact. He had a bent front left suspension. They bent it back in the pits, so that car is not totally healthy.
And you can see the train closing up now behind Alex Zanardi. Gilles-de-Ferran, Helio Castroneves, Dario Franchitti, and Brian Herta. 1, 2, 3, and 4 running behind Zanardi, who is shown in 13th. Once again, a lap down.
This is where it gets exciting because you got to make a move up front, but you also got to protect your position.
Lighting up those Firestones under braking is Zanardi. We'll watch more cars now joining that train. Scott Pruitt and Adrian Fernandez coming up in 5th and 6th. Back on Shoreline Drive on what has turned into a beautiful day here at Long Beach. There's the Queen Mary in the background. Navy Yards, the side of the new aquarium, looking back from Zanardi.
Now look at this, something that we've, right there, Brian Herta has gotten around Dario Franchitti. There he is. Franchitti is behind him. One lap ago, the positions were reversed.
Now it's a battle of nerves between these drivers. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth, all running nose to tail. Checking our race recap. The leader is DeFerrin. Average speed just under 100 miles an hour for the green flag periods of the race. 4 leaders, 3 changes. You've seen 7 caution flags. That's a new record. Cars out of the race. None more spectacular than Michael Andretti. Well, perhaps I better check that. Paul Tracy had a pretty spectacular exit, too. Now slower traffic ahead of Zanardi. It's Arndt Meyer directly ahead. Hiro Matsushita just ahead of Meyer. This race is the first of 3 in a new program in kart called the Visa Platinum Challenge, for a driver who can pick up 2 poles and 2 race wins among 3 races here in Long Beach, May 23rd at the Gateway Oval in Madison, Illinois, and in September at Laguna Seca. 2 poles and 2 race victories will win a driver a $250,000 Visa Platinum car.
Now traffic is critical here. You can get caught in the wrong spot and be held up and give everybody else an advantage.
There's DeFerrin. Hiro Matsushita just ahead, driving his last race here on the streets of Long Beach. He'll climb out of the car after the Rio 400. Now DeFerrin gets around. Castro Neves. Now Brian Herta will be behind.
Oh, and that hurt him because Brian wanted to get through there because he was in touch with the front 2 cars. Didn't want to take a chance there. We've seen Michael drive, but he didn't want to take a chance. Too much at stake this late in the game.
Oh, look at that line of cars. Now we do the conga line at over 180 miles an hour through the kink. Matsushita on the right, braking for turn 1. Herta gets through, Franchitti gets through. Scott Pruitt will now be behind the Japanese driver. Now check out the fuel window. Castro Neves in second place is in his window. Gilles DeFerrin has roughly 15 laps before he's due in, but we're hearing pit stops may come sooner. And that may be a function of slower traffic.
Bob, we're just checking with Castro Neves' crew. Tom Brown, one of the engineers, he said we may get able to get 9 or 10 laps. That's the plan. It'll be a short stop, just a squeeze of fuel, hopefully, to get him to the end.
And Gary, that shows you how much more fuel he is using than Gilles DeFerrin, because Gilles DeFerrin should come in about the same time. So it may be that Helio Castro Neves is burning a little bit too much fuel.
And guys, what it's all going to come down to, if that's the case, if there's no yellows, is pit work. What the teams do, position in that pit, getting in, get an efficient stop, and getting out.
That's what we saw a week ago in the Budweiser 500 in Japan. Now let's talk about tires for a moment. The new tire rule this year requires that the 2 companies in the series, Goodyear and Firestone, bring 1 primary and 1 optional compound and construction, and all of their signatory teams must use that primary tire unless it is withdrawn by the maker for safety reasons, in which case all of the cars have to move to the optional compound. The idea is to get them to bring a safe, relatively hard compound that would reduce the number of marbles, those little bits of rubber you saw to the right of your screen there. Last year, Shoreline Drive was carpeted with marbles coming off the soft Goodyear and Firestone tires. Very few of those marbles here today, so it would appear that one of the goals of that new tire rule have been achieved. Castro Neves looking down the inside of the race leader, but he can't get it done. Almost used the pick by Arndt Meyer to make the pass for the lead.
Gilles DeFerrin saw that and checked him at the last moment. Castro Neves was very smart there, didn't want to stick his nose in, take a chance of having it knocked off.
And an update on the possible fuel situation. They're now telling the crew it may be 2 or 3 laps before they bring Castro Neves in. So it may be sooner rather than later. Not going to gamble and run it out.
Jimmy Vasser pits from 9th place. As you watch the battle for the lead into the hairpin, lighting up the left front Goodyear is Gilles DeFerrin. Castro Neves sticks his nose right up on the gearbox.
And Bob, you're talking about those marbles and soft tires. It turns out that maybe those regulations didn't work too well. Goodyear said this is the softest tire they've ever brought to Long Beach.
And for the lead, Helio Castro Neves under braking for turn 1. It was close, but he got by. Gilles de Ferran has got to make time now. I believe that's Jimmy Vasser, yes it is, who just left the pits.
Oh, and that cost him because he had to lift right there. It's one of the fastest corners on the track, and he just lost that little bit of a gap. And any second that you lose here, you have to make up in the pit. It puts a lot of load on the teams.
And so the Brazilian rookie, Helio Castro Neves, in the Alumax aluminum sponsored car for Tony Bettenhausen and Emerson Fittipaldi, is into the race lead. And drawing away slightly from Gilles de Ferran on Shoreline Drive. What a moment for the rookie.
He knows that he's going to stop for fuel. He's going to try to push it as hard as he can. He's probably got to turn back up 100% rich. That takes the load off the team, gives him a little bit of an advantage.
And Danny, I think we're going to see him on the next lap. I think they're radioing now to tell him next time by, bring it on pit road.
But Gary, it's so critical how fast he gets around the track, into the pits, down in, makes a good clean stop and gets out.
Yeah, you talk about pressure on a driver. Now it's going to be magnified by 6 guys going over the wall.
And pressure on that team.
That team is led by Tom Brown, who spent years with Penske Racing. They know how to make pit stops. Not this time around for the race leader. There's the team getting ready to go to work.
And they're going to change tires. Now I'm wondering if everybody who's going to stop is going to change tires as well. Somebody might gamble and just put fuel, make it a lot quicker stop.
With 23 laps to go. It's about half a load of fuel. 10-year tires last.
And the captain of the team, as they lay out the equipment, is telling everybody on the wall, take it easy, guys. Take a deep breath. He's giving them the hand signal. Let's be calm. Let's do our job as efficiently as possible.
And Gary, to answer Danny's question, Derek Walker confirmed that in fact they will not change tires on the final stop. So they're just going to try and take on the fuel. Good call, Danny.
In comes the race leader, and the Bettenhausen team prepares to go to work. Pivotal moment for the rookie.
Boy, he brought it in beautifully. We're watching. Got him in 11 seconds.
To a big round of applause from the folks behind the pit area. Good job for the Alumax team. And now it's back in the hands of their driver. As he lets go of the pit lane rev limiter. Rockets back out onto the racetrack into turn 1. Gilles de Ferran, you ride with the new race leader. He's got a pit stop coming up as well. Not this time, however, as he passes the pit entrance.
Switch on, switch on.
Switch on, says Derek Walker from the pit wall. Ryan Herter runs second, Dario Franchitti third. We'll listen in, see if Derek Walker gives any further instructions to his driver. If he comes in this time around, we'll leave the radio open and listen to Derek Walker and Gilles de Ferran discuss the situation.
Well, Bob, I just asked him, and he said that they wouldn't be in for 12 laps. That seems surprising to me. It looked like on the pit board they were getting ready to bring Gilles de Ferran in, but Derek Walker, they've obviously been saving a lot of fuel. He said, yeah, we'll be here 12 laps, no big deal.
That would be 9 laps from the checkered flag. And if that's the case, then Gilles de Ferran had better find some giddy up.
1.6, Herta.
1.6, the gap backs to the name you heard, Brian Herta, who runs in second. De Ferran is a cool customer. Drove in the minor leagues of open wheel racing in Europe for Jackie Stewart, his famous staircase of talent. When De Ferran came into this series, drove for Jim Hall. There were rumors that Jackie Stewart wanted Gilles de Ferran to come back to Formula One, as Jackie and his son Paul built their Formula One team, for whom Rubens Barrichello and Jan Magnussen drive these days.
Go easy on the RPM if you can. Can't hear you. Repeat, please repeat. Watch the RPM.
What he means by going easy on that RPM is the more you rev it, the more fuel you use. So if you can short shift, instead of going up to the, say, maximum of 14,000, you'll conserve more fuel.
Do anything about it, dude.
Castro Neves re-entered the track in 9th place. Gap from the leader back to Castro Neves, less than 29 seconds. And all the cars ahead of Castro Neves have pit stops to come. We'll take a break and return for more from Long Beach. ESPN Speed World coverage of the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach is brought to you by Toyota. Every day belongs to you. Make it count. Toyota every day. By Goodyear, innovators of run-flat technology. And by Brewery Fresh Budweiser, the official beer of kart. Hey, race fans, this Bud's for you. 16 laps remaining in the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach, and as promised, we will now give you uninterrupted coverage of the race all the way to the checkered flag, courtesy of Toyota. Gilles de Ferran. When will he stop? As we know he must. He took the lead when Helio Castroneves, the Brazilian rookie, pitted to make his last stop. Conserving fuel. And after a race that began with numerous incidents, including a race record 7 caution flags, cars flying through the air, piling up down in the hairpin, we have had a long stretch of uninterrupted green flag racing.
Good laps. Keep it up. Good laps.
Good laps, say Derek Walker to his driver, Gilles de Ferran. Let's get down to Gary Gerald in the pit lane. Oh, wait. The Alumax car, Castro Neves, is into the tires in 6. So the rookie whose race was shaping up so brilliantly after a terrific last stop by the Bettenhausen Alumax team has now left long streaks of fresh rubber all the way into the tire wall on the backstretch. Get a push away, we'll see if he still has the fire, but precious time is being lost. Cars drive past. You see they come right down the backstretch, Seaside Way there, toward this safety crew. Let's take another look.
Pulls out to pass the car. Oh, he just pulled out to pass the car, ducked back in, and locked him up.
He had closed 4 seconds on the race leader, Gilles de Ferran, since his last pit stop. Helio Castroneves was on a charge. There is de Ferran. Brian Herter runs second, Dario Franchitti third, Scott Pruitt fourth, Adrian Fernandez fifth. Now let's get back down to Gary Gerald for that update.
Quick update on the Brian Herta situation. Nothing has changed. They anticipate they're going to have to make a stop. They think all the other front runners will as well. It'll come in the last 10 laps. Now we've just gotten word that Adrian Fernandez, running 5th, may pit on the next lap. His teammate Pruitt, running 4th, may pit on the lap after that.
Well, Gary, we just got word from Derek Walker that Gilles de Ferran will be here in 3 laps. Keeps going back and forth, but now 3 looks like the number.
That will be 10 laps remaining in the race for Gilles de Ferran as you watch Brian Herta, who runs less than a second behind the race leader. Dario Franchitti 2.2 seconds out, Scott Pruitt 5.9, Adrian Fernandez 7.2 seconds behind the race leader, and Greg Moore 11.5. Having a quiet race today, but he is in the running for a top finish.
Oh, and look what happened. Look over here on the right. Gilles de Ferran has pulled off to the right. I don't know whether he was running short of fuel.
And Brian Herta got by.
So there's no fourth now.
Derek Walker.
Gearbox, no fourth.
We're with Derek Walker. What happened, Derek?
Well, we've had no second gear for quite a few laps. Now the third is gone, and we're running out of gears in the gearbox, so we've got a problem.
Sorry, Derek.
Yeah, it was great drive.
In comes Gilles de Ferran. Lacking second, third, and fourth gears.
Tires.
No fresh tires, but enough fuel to get him 10 laps to the finish. Actually, it's 12 laps to the checkered flag right now. The Ferrari goes out.
No second, no third, no fourth. Now has no fifth now. Okay, if it looks like you can't get around this pocket. I thought you were going to park it.
Well, no second, third, fourth, or fifth. That's called a gearbox full of neutrals, basically. Here comes Brian Herta, the race leader. Gary's there.
He had actually moved up at the Petrick pit. We're looking down the wall from the back of the car. It was quick. A splash, no rubber, 6 seconds and a fraction.
Could this be the day for Brian Herta, who came to the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach with his father when he was about 10 years old, decided that's what I want to do, got into racing karts, won a lot in that, and here he is after a long career working his way up the open-wheeled ladder, looking straight at his first win in the FedEx Championship Series.
And if he wins that, it's about a $250,000 win because he sat on the pole.
I knew you wouldn't forget that as the day went on. Now with the fuel he needs, more tires. Apparently, Team Rahal thinks it's going to work for Brian Herta. As you look at Dario Franchitti, currently shown in the race lead over Scott Pruitt. Adrian Fernandez now third, Greg Moore fourth. Here is DeFerrin back in the pits with that ailing gearbox.
A splash of fuel also, Bob, for Scott Pruitt. He was gone, and it was like 3 or 4 seconds.
Pruitt pits from fourth place.
Let's not forget that each lap they go further, they need that little bit less fuel to get to the end.
Now Brian Herta went by as Scott Pruitt was cruising down the pit lane on the rev limiter. There is Dario Franchitti. See when Franchitti makes his pit visit. And here he comes. Race leader is in. To Jan Bikas.
Here comes Dario Franchitti. We would expect no tires. Another splash of fuel. We'll see if he can get it done any faster than some of these other guys. 3, 4, 5 seconds and counting. This is taking longer than it should. Dario Franchitti. That was a bit longer for this race. Almost 8 seconds.
And so Adrian Fernandez now picks up the race lead. For him, it would be 2 in a row. Now there's Brian Herta flashing down Shoreline Drive. Headed toward turn 1.
And he goes by. There's Franchitti coming out of the pits. Brian Herta looked like he had Castro Neves right behind him.
Ooh, Castro Neves looks like he's trying to get by.
Well, I'm sure he lost a lap, so he'd like to pull that back and get in front of him and hope for a yellow.
Castro Neves in 11th place. If he did get by Brian Herta, here comes Adrian Fernandez as another leader pits. Gary.
We watch. We'll see how quick this one is. Oh, it looks great. He's out of here. 2 terrific stops for the Patrick team.
Very good work. 97 laps complete. 8 to go as the leaders one by one come in. And for the first time today, Greg Moore, flu bug and all, finds himself in the race lead. What an amazing day of racing here on the streets of Long Beach. Greg Moore picked up a couple of victories last year, became the youngest driver ever to win a race in the FedEx Championship Series. Look at the nose of that car. You'll see that he's been tagging some competitors today, and he heads for the pit lane now. So lap after lap, each new leader comes in succession. Jan Bikas is in the players' pit.
Well, we'll see how fast this one is. This is a great competition to see how much fuel you can get in. Some guys put hardly any. This is another car that's putting more than you would expect. Oh, my God. Oh, I believe the fueler has been hit. I believe that Greg Moore caught the fueler on the way out.
There you see one crewman down in the pit lane. Here comes Brian Herta to take over the race lead. Franchitti in second with 7 laps to go. Greg Moore apparently will come out in third. This is for the lead. These two cars are first and second.
Look at Franchitti throwing it around back there, sliding it out. He had a slower stop, probably put more fuel on. It's be a little bit heavier, but he'll be able to run at 100% bridge.
From overhead through turn 6, paddock area on the right. Packed grandstands all around as they head for the hairpin. There will be 6 laps to go when they cross the stripe. Apparently, Greg Moore in the number 99 player's car for Forsyth Racing will be black flagged back into the pits for a violation. Certainly has something to do with hitting his crewman. Right now, the battle for the race lead and a possible $250,000 payday for Brian Herta, who runs at the bottom of your screen just ahead of Dario Franchitti, rookie last year, I should say. He too is looking for his first win.
And are you thinking Brian Herta was thinking about Laguna Seca right now when he had Alex Zanardi that close behind him, and he's got Dario behind him this close? He does not want to let this one get away from him.
That was for a championship a year ago at Laguna Seca. 5 laps to go around this 1.5-mile racetrack. Alex Zanardi right there emerges in 3rd place. He too running for position here in the waning laps. And we all know what Alex Zanardi can do when he is anxious to move up. Recall the battles he had with Brian Herta last year, including a collision while Herta was landing on the streets of Vancouver.
He's looking down the inside of Franchitti. Very clean pass.
Professional driving by both men. So now Zanardi moves into 2nd place, and once again it is Herta and Zanardi. Zanardi, the defending race winner, the man who introduced donuts to Long Beach. And Herta, you see his visor moving to the right. He's checking that mirror, looking for the red car. 4 laps to go.
And Bob, a quick update in the Greg Moore pit. The fueler, Tim Wilson, was hit. The kart safety team is tending to him. He is conscious, but he had a big tire mark on his left leg. He seems to be injured, but he is conscious.
Checking the Omega timing. Well, you don't need to check it. You could see just how close this battle is. Shades of Laguna Seca a year ago for the championship.
And Bob, they've just told her on the radio, take no prisoners. There's no holds barred in this one. We've got a shootout at the beach.
Down the outside, headed for the hairpin. Alex Zanardi looks. And now Franchitti is right on Zanardi's gearbox. 1, 2, 3. They come off the hairpin and onto Shoreline Drive. 3 to go this time by. Behind them, Scott Pruitt runs 4th. Adrian Fernandez 5th. Greg Moore 6th. Mark Blundell 7th. Tony Kanaan 8th. Jimmy Vasser 9th. And Elio Castroneves 10th. But Pruitt is 4 seconds behind this battle for the victory. And now Zanardi is right up behind race leader Herta. Franchitti just as close behind him as they go on to Seaside Way, the backstretch. Perhaps if I'm Dario Franchitti, I want to get a couple of car lengths back and just watch them go at it.
No, you want to get right up in there and hope that somebody touches, gives you a little opportunity, and gives you the opportunity to take away a place or possibly 2.
Zanardi looks down the outside, the inside, right up behind Herta now as they come back onto Shoreline Drive one more time. 2 to go this time by, and everyone in this crowd of 100,000 plus is on their feet. As the Target Chip Ganassi Racing team goes crazy, the first time they have been in the lead since the exchange of pit stops earlier in the race. Alex Zanardi has come seemingly from nowhere to work his magic again, and he is in the lead and pulling away.
And Brian Herta has to be crushed. And Franchitti took advantage of it. He had to be right there up close and took advantage of it all.
A quick look in the mirrors for Zanardi, but he has a huge interval as the white flag waves. The victory would be worth $5,000 in donations to the St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital in Memphis, Tennessee. Last year, they earned about $100,000. Did Chip Ganassi Racing and Target. There is Franchitti, who has taken over second place. Best finish ever for the Scottish driver. What a remarkable run for Alex Zanardi. I mentioned earlier in the race that the season has gotten off to a quiet start. He crashed at Motegi, Japan last Saturday. But now he has worked his way patiently through this field, through all the chaos, all the drama. Once more through the hairpin with this crowd screaming as one. He has done it again. The checkered flag waves, and Alex Zanardi back-to-back wins in Long Beach. Well, you know what's coming next. He is about to absolutely torture a perfectly good set of Firestone tires. Second consecutive win for Alex Zanardi in Long Beach. The third straight for Target Chip Ganassi Racing here. His 9th career win, and the first this year for Honda, who will finish first and second because Honda powers the Team Green Reynard, driven by Dario Franchitti as well. And listen to this crowd. I guess we'll go straight to victory lane. You see the plaques laid in concrete. Winners of the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. Gary Gerald is in victory lane.
Billy Camphausen helps with the helmet. Alex Zanardi pulled it to a stop. His head leaned down momentarily on the wheel. It was like a prayer of thanksgiving. You can see the beads of perspiration under that visor as he awaits the chance to come out of the cockpit in another memorable drive by last year's PPG champion, now in the FedEx Championship Series. The fist is in the air. We didn't see a donut out there. I wouldn't surprise me if he'd ask him to fire this thing out and go back out there one more time. Zanardi, 5 times a winner last year, the defending champion, out of the car and savoring the moment. What a scintillating drive. The man has done it again. Alex, we saw you last year not only win here, but we saw you come from the back of the field at Cleveland. This is almost the same kind of a drive. What in the world was possessing you today to gain all those positions back?
I don't know, Gary. I mean, look at the rack over there. I had the steering wheel completely turned on one side. The front toe was completely wrong, but the car kept going.
That's amazing, because you can see how it's bent, and as he celebrates, let's take a look here, Rick Rice. You see how this bar is bent. These cars aren't designed to run when they're that way, and the crew has engulfed him. We'll try to get him back as they hoist him on their shoulders, and the festivities at the beach continue. We'll get him back over here, and we'll learn more about this amazing ride. What did the bent suspension come from? What was the incident that started all of this?
I don't know what happened with Bobby when they stopped at the hairpin. I stopped too, and Scott was on the side of me, one point in the side to go, and he ran over my front tire. Look at the push rod is always bent, all bent.
Chip Ganassi has joined. Chip, what about this guy?
We had no radio. We were talking Italian the whole time.
Hey, make it difficult. I like it.
Well, you can see that it's going to be a while to get this team calmed down here as Zanardi continues to celebrate. We'll check in with Jan Beekes right now.
Well, Brian Herta hits the podium, and Brian, what a wild race. Did you get through that whole race without any damage on the car?
Yeah, somehow it was a wild race, I got to say, and the car's running great, but obviously, Alex was on a little different strategy than us there at the end. He had fresh tires, and we had some old ones, and his was the way to go. I just fought him back as long as I could, but the tires were great. we just needed a new set.
Who makes that call? Obviously, if you come in, you just get fuel, it's a faster stop. But if you get tires, you can run faster on the track. Is that you, or is that Bobby, or who makes those decisions?
Well, you know, it's something that the team talks about with me, and you know, it felt like if we could just splash and go, we might be able to hang on to it. But you know, who knows if we'd taken tires? If it would have taken longer, we might have just lost in the pits. But you know, I'm proud of the guys. It was a good, strong race. We ran fast all weekend, and we got some points. We're back on the board.
You certainly sound somewhat disappointed, but a podium is a podium. That's got to be pretty exciting, considering all the carnage.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you're disappointed not to win the race, but you know, today I feel pretty good about our performance. I really, you know, Alex, like I said, was coming hard. We didn't have anything for him. I fought him off as long as I possibly could. I just about crashed the thing every lap there, trying to keep him back. And yeah, I'm happy we were able to hold on for third.
All right, thank you very much, Brian. Let's go back to Gary Gerald.
And Dario Franchitti, your first visit to the podium in this series, and boy, you worked so hard to get that second tier. Tell us about the pass when Herta lost the lead.
Yeah, Zanardi pushed Brian wide a bit in turn 2, so I got inside him in turn 3. I think nobody really took on tyres the last stop, so we were sliding about a lot. So I just got to say thank you to my guys at Team Co Green. They did a fantastic job on the stops today. I lost my mirrors after about 30 laps. Both lenses fell out, so they were talking me around the whole time. And
there was so much contact during this race today. How many times were you involved with those kinds of close calls?
I didn't actually touch anybody. Although one time I had to stop at the hairpin and I lost the clutch because of it, but it eventually came back to me just before the pit stop, which was quite nice. So I'm very happy. I didn't think, you know, it's been a long time coming on the podium, so just say thanks to the guys at Team Co Green. They were super.
I know they want you on the truck. You're going to take a victory lap. There's about 100,000 people that want to congratulate you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Dario Franchitti, first time on the podium, and what a drive.
What a drive indeed, and what a day. We'd like to thank Toyota for allowing us to bring you that dramatic run to the checkered flag uninterrupted. Alex Zanardi, the magician, has done it again. Congratulations to our winner. We'll take a break and return with more live follow-up to the 24th Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach.
This Toyota Spotlight takes a look at this weekend's winner. Alex Zanardi starts 11th. Brian Herta on the pole. Zanardi tight racing, so tight that he loses a problem with his left front push run. Look at him exiting the turn. It's a parking lot, and Zanardi is one man there. But he battled his way back from a lap down, dispatching with the likes of Michael Andretti, only to learn his lesson well, close on Brian Herta, and what was once the danger zone, turn 1, became the passing zone and the winning zone for Alex Zanardi.
Thank you, Jack. Here's a look at our final standings. Victory for Alex Zanardi, first podium for Dario Franchitti, and a great race run for Brian Herta, valuable championship points. Adrian Fernandez finished 4th, Tony Kanaan, the rookie, in 5th, and Greg Moore in 6th. Now remember, Scott Pruitt was a part of that battle in the late going. Somehow his last lap was very slow. He finishes a lap down in 12th place. Could he have run out of fuel? Bobby Rahal, who started on the front row alongside Brian Herta, winds up in 17th place. J.J. Leto had a taste of the lead. Hiro Matsushita finishes 19th in his final run here at the beach. And of course, Michael Andretti, who pushed that flapping left front tire too far and wound up in the wall. The king of Long Beach, Alonso Jr., went out on lap 1, down to Jan Bikas.
Well, Adrian Fernandez had a 4th place run today. It was very crazy up there at the front. Good points for you, and you are the points leader, so that's what counts.
It is. At the end, you know, that's what we needed to do, just finish strong. The race was really crazy, as you say. A lot of crazy moves, which, I mean, it always happen in this racetrack. So you have to be a little bit careful. But, you know what, the pace was very strong right from the beginning. And we didn't have such a strong car as we thought. And so we did our best with what we had. But, you know, the team, the whole Patrick Racing and my crew did a great job on the pits. And at the end, I managed to pass my teammate. And Zanardi made a move. I went ahead of him, and he made a move which compromised the situation, and I lost the position to Scott again there at the end. But then we recovered when he had his problem with the fuel.
All right, well, congratulations on the point lead. Let's go to Gary Gerald.
Tony Kanaan conducting a radio interview with the Speedway Radio Network. Tony, terrific job to get your best finish in only a couple of starts here in a rookie season. That smile tells us an awful lot about your day.
Well, I mean, Tasman did a pretty good job, the LCI, everybody, all the team. I think If it wasn't for them, I couldn't be here. So thanks for Steve Horn. We did a great race. Unfortunately, I stole the car in the beginning of the race in the hairpin. So we lose a lot of position. We back up and we didn't give up. And we catch up everybody and we finish 5th. So I'm very happy. I'm very proud of my team. So we just need to keep going.
In the first half of this race today, it was almost like a demolition derby. There was so much wheel banging going on. How hard is it for a rookie driver to stay patient to pick the right spot to make a move?
I mean, they try to scare you all the time. I mean, I'm a rookie. They touching everybody. They try to close the door of me, but like I said, it's the race. I'm rookie. I'm going to learn. I'm going to be the rookie until to the end of the year. So next year I can give some hard times to the new rookies.
Here's a rookie who's learning real fast, Bob.
No question about it. Good job for Tony Kanaan. Here's a look at the points. Adrian Fernandez coming off that win in Japan, now firmly in control of the lead. Greg Moore second. Alex Zanardi, who becomes the first driver to win from farther back on the starting grid than 7th place, and only the second driver to win from further back than 4th. Who says you can't pass on the streets of Long Beach? In the Manufacturers' Championship, Ford retains the lead, but Honda moves up to a firm 2nd place. Mercedes in 3rd, and Toyota picks up its first points of the season here today. It threatened rain, but turned into a beautiful day here in Long Beach. Coming up after our coverage here in Long Beach, Sports Center. Mark McGuire going for 5 in a row. Winston Cup from Texas, and the race for the final playoff spot in the East in the NBA. We'll be back. Welcome back live to Long Beach, California. A day that began with a threat of rain, wound up sunshine from one end to the other for the 24th consecutive year, and what a race we saw. Victory for Alex Zanardi, 2nd to Dario Franchitti, 3rd to Brian Herta. Spare a thought for everybody that ran close to the front, including Scott Pruitt, who wound up back in 12th. Final thoughts, Danny Sullivan?
Well, once again, it shows how competitive this racing is. You got to fight for every inch and every position, and you can never give up all the way till the end. You can never say finished if you have a problem. And I think it was a very impressive day. A lot of good drives, good close racing. Zanardi was incredible. And Firestone's first 8 positions up there on the board. We saw, of course, the Goodyears go out. And another sad day, if you like, for Gilles de Ferran. 3 in a row. He's been leading this thing so strong and just can't seem to get it happen.
Back in 1996, he led 100 of 105 laps before a header went bad. Our next race will be Nazareth, Pennsylvania, back onto oval tracks. It comes your way here on ESPN Sunday, April 26, 12:30 p.m. Eastern, 9:30 a.m. Pacific time. Live coverage of round 4 of the FedEx Championship Series. Of our 29 starters, 10 finished on the lead lap. The final margin of victory, Alex Zanardi over Dario Franchitti, 2.917 seconds. Thanks to Omega Timing for timing and scoring services. On the right, the Queen Mary. On the left, the Shoreline, and the constantly changing configuration of the Long Beach International Grand Prix Circuit. Another great one goes into the history books. We hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks for being with us. Don't forget, coming up next, Sports Center with all the news of the day in sports. Mark McGuire going for 5 home runs in as many games to start the year. Highlights from the Texas 500 NASCAR Winston Cup race and the NBA championship stretch run. I'm Bob Varsha for Danny Sullivan, Jack Arute, Jan Beekes, and Gary Gerald. Thanks for being with us. So long from Long Beach, California. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.